Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. October 26th, Rory Lee Feek. Rory Feek is an American country music singer and songwriter. He has written songs for artists such as Clay Walker, Tracy Byrd, and Blake Shelton. Rory has always been diligent about what he was called to do, but in the 4 years after the loss of his wife Joey, Rory raised funding and built a one-room schoolhouse on his farm, produced a movie as a tribute to Joey called To Joey with Love, and he wrote 2 powerful books. He also created a television series and released a film entitled Finding Josephine. Meanwhile, Rory has returned to singing, and he has performed a series of concerts for the Music Health Alliance and the Grand Ole Opry. He accepted awards for Joey and Rory's Hymns album that won a Grammy Award for Best Roots Gospel Album, while at the same time raising his little girl, who was 2 when Joey died. Rory is all about making the hard choices.
When the hard choice presents itself, do your own job and choose love. Almost done writing his 3rd book, Rory noted that writing about this chapter in his life had been a whole lot easier than living it. The hearts of his daughters had been at stake. How he thought of himself as a Christian was at stake. The kind of man that he would be, the way he would choose to live, was at stake. At one of the toughest times in his life, he had just buried his young wife, Joey. Rory came home to the farmhouse to find his middle daughter, 27-year-old Hope, upset. Something was hurting her deeply, and she seemed afraid to tell him. He asked her what was wrong. "You won't understand," she answered through tears. "You'll judge me." "Just tell me, Hopi," Rory said again. "It's okay." And she did. Like Rory, Hope was a Christian, and now she sat at the kitchen table with him and told him that her friend Wendy was more than a friend, and had been more than a friend for a while. Hope told her dad she was gay, and Wendy and her were in love. To say the least, Rory felt surprised. A tear presented itself and ran down his face. "See, you're judging me," she said. And without even knowing, I was. She could see it on my face, see it in my eyes. Rory scrambled inside, try not to knee-jerk react. This was his daughter he loved, but he said things later he thought he should not have said. Reality was smacking hard right up against what he had always believed as a Christian, and his life united with Jesus was Rory's core. "My conservative Christian faith was the first part of me to judge Hopi," he wrote. "To want to push her away, to withhold love from her. And she could feel it, see it in my eyes. And in that moment, we had a conversation without any words. Her eyes were asking if he would still love her, and his eyes were answering. My eyes were hardening around the edges, just like my heart," he wrote. "Probably not," they said as I looked away, more ashamed of what I was thinking than of what she had shared with me. This father and daughter, who loved each other and who belonged to Jesus, did not work through the issue that night. They went their separate ways. It took time to talk it through, for Rory to spend time with Wendy, to ask her questions, to know who she was. It took time to talk with the Lord about it, to know what to think, what to do. Rory described it. "Hopi has made me rethink everything I have thought when it comes to some things. And in other ways, I'm still right where I always was. First off, I'm not the judge. That is not my job. I'm Hopi's father. My job is to love her. She gets to make her decisions in life, all of them. I can approve or disapprove, but it's her life, and she has the right to live it as she chooses." Rory wrote that this chapter in his life has been challenging. I've still got a long way to grow, but I believe that I'm getting there. And I cannot help but think, in the end, how can we lose if we choose love? In John 13:34 and 35, God tells us, love one another. As I have loved you, you must also love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. If someone you love dearly has made a life choice you do not support, have you asked God to help you work through it? When the hard choice presents itself, do your own job and choose love.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." Join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.